sir, a third video has hit the platform, and it seems like the iceberg topic won the vote. So grab your first jar of pickles and let's get into this. I'm going to try and keep each point short because I'm guessing your attention span is fried from watching these Fruit Love Island videos. Like, what the fuck even is that? Starting off in the top level, we have duplication glitches. Kind of simple to understand, but for those with Squidward's IQ, basically there's these things called bugs. Just like real life bugs, they're annoying, but sometimes they can be exploited into being useful. Official announcement. Today, on the 23rd of February 2019, the most OP dupe that has existed on 2B2T history has been patched. Guacamole. Imagine a family living paycheck to paycheck had their credit card leaked to their 9-year-old son who just discovered Minecraft servers. The child then proceeds to spend unholy amounts of money on the server, which gives him permanent strength boosts, a diamond sword, and what appears to be a third arm. What the fuck? Because of this, Mojang had a meltdown and made it so server owners had to comply with this anti-pay-to-win agreement. Many didn't, many died. And that's the circle of life. Griefing. Not to be confused with grieving, but at this point it's kind of the same thing because imagine logging onto your favorite server just to discover some no-life troglodyte creature decided it was in their best interest to bomb your house more than— I have been advised not to finish this line. Moving on, now we're entering the shallow area. Mojang invented their 8th deadly sin, paying with time. Server owners tried to bypass the pay-to-win enforcements by having players vote for the servers and getting rewards for it. With the EU update, Mojang decided that now rewards from these votes can only be cosmetic. Counter-Strike needs to take notes, bro. I mean, hey, at least kids aren't wasting their money, right? Yeah, I guess. Staff corruption is something that happens in Minecraft too, but in this case, it's more like banning people you don't like. There's a post from 14 years ago that has a giant picture that says, "With great power comes great responsibility." Like, what job has more power than a server admin? A Reddit mod? I don't think so. Basically, this whole post was talking about admins abusing their power and how to restrict staff from doing this, and a very specific comment stood out to me. I was playing a modded server called Tetrocraft, and my nephew made a base and machines. My nephew suffers from depression, yet the owner abused his power, killed me, and broke everything my nephew made. Now he feels upset and refuses to talk to me because he thinks I did it. Well, it looks like he also suffers from using punctuation, but that's beside the point. People take this way too seriously. Well, you thought I wouldn't mention Hypixel, My bad. This entry is interesting because I feel deeply emotional for the victims of inflation. Not in real life, but in Skyblock, of course. By 2023, a sword called the Hyperion rose from 400 million coins to 3 billion clams. What the foot? Now the price has dropped back down to around 400 million, but I must have spent at least 75% of my last summer break trying to get this sword. Now it's time to get into the interesting stuff. For this next entry, I got a lot of this information from Hellcast and Tyler, so go show them support. These guys are awesome. Back in 2021, a player by the name Krusty Travis was watching a live stream on Twitch. The Twitch streamer's partner was having a child, and Travis here had an agreement with the streamer to legally name their child after him for 750 million Skyblock coins. In today's economy, that's pocket change, but back then it was quite significant. So now there's a poor guy out there named Travis Krusty, and the story behind his name is kind of crazy. I'll link Hellcastle's videos below, go watch that if you want an iceberg video specifically on Skyblock. When the word mass is used in something besides physics, it's never really a good situation. I'm here to talk about mass bans, again on Hypixel. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, when I bring up Hypixel, they're most likely in hot water and I don't think they can swim. I've already covered their ban system and might be kind of wrong, but I got lots of views hopefully. So on this video, can we up those numbers just like Ludwig did when he was encouraging his friends to be alcoholics?
Let's up those numbers!
In the Anarchy server 2B2T, there's this thing called incursions. This is where veteran players come together to control the spawn and other areas of 2B2T. This is to make sure new players aren't welcome. Seems familiar, right? The thing is, the server doesn't actually ban anyone, so this was all community organized to try and drive off and kill unwanted players. IRL trading, or RMT, is basically where players on an economy server will spend real-life money to purchase in-game items from other players. This is most common in Hypixel Skyblock, where there are third-party markets and Discord servers where players can do these transactions. Warning! These are quite dangerous, and I wouldn't recommend anyone to do it as it breaks Hypixel's TOS, and you will most likely get scammed if you're trying to buy an account. But yeah, just don't do it. Instead, spend your money on today's sponsor, Grammarly. I gotta stop doing this. But yeah, in 2016, the company Trend Micro documented how gaming currencies across major games were used in dark auction sites. Scary, Trend Micro, you dog. This is where we talk about data breaches. In fact, the hardest part was doing the math to find out who actually gives a fuck. Data breaches are usually all the same. People lose passwords because companies don't encrypt the data properly. Companies get fined and a lot more. In 2016, there's so much stuff going on in 2016. It's going to be harder to find a normal event than it's going to be for historians to figure out what this guy actually looked like. But anyways, the Minecraft server Lifeboat was hacked. 7 million accounts. That includes usernames, passwords, and emails. The company knew for a few months what was going on, but they said absolutely nothing and just reset passwords and acted as if nothing happened. PR trained, I guess. Now we go deeper into the rabbit hole, you might even see the unredacted Epstein. The first thing in this layer is NoCom. This is the most sophisticated player-created exploit in Minecraft history. From 2018 to 2021, a group called Nerds Inc. secretly tracked the real-time location of every player on 2b2t. Mass surveillance, So here's how it worked. A patch added to PaperMC to fix an unrelated bug had an unintended side effect. It allowed any client to ask the server for a specific coordinate that's loaded. So if a player standing near it, the world would just answer freely on request. Nerds Inc. kept developing the exploit to the point where they hired this dude who was the creator of Baritone, an AI pathfinding library that has a high chance of finding happiness in life compared to you. But here's the interesting part. A database with 14 billion rows tracked 300,000 unique players, which came to around 1.8 terabytes of data. When the YouTuber FetMC revealed it in 2021, it was called the most severe exploit in 2b2 history, which is really saying something considering the server is a museum of exploits. And then if NoCom wasn't enough, in 2022, the Spawn Masons faction on 2b2t discovered Randar. This was a bug in Minecraft's code which was present since 2011. The code in the game reused the same random number generator for terrain generation and in-game events such as block drops. So if you broke a block near a player and recorded the precise coordinates of dropped items, you could use LLL lattice reduction to find exactly where you are. Honestly, this is pretty complicated stuff, and while my brain is the 8th wonder of the world, I don't exactly understand this. Hacking. Oh. I feel like I'm going to be talking more about 2b2t than Hypixel, but here we go. The Phobos client was a popular hack client in the 2b2t community, and the developer's code got stolen by a rival faction, so they took revenge. They released a new version with a remote access Trojan embedded deep in the source code, and within 48 hours it had been run over 4,000 times. People's data was harvested like a farm here. We're talking about Minecraft passwords, Discord tokens, Google Chrome saved passwords, like all of this information was stolen. All of these credentials were uploaded to a remote server and could have probably been used for identity theft and account takeovers. Luckily, someone reverse engineered the code after a few days and found it, but by then it had been way too late. So I will hold your hand when I say this. Don't run exe files from random people on the noodle net. Well, we are back in 2016 again. October 21st. Large portions of the US internet went offline. This includes Twitter, Netflix, Reddit, and a lot of other platforms, which happens to be one of the largest cyber attacks in internet history. And do you know what caused it? Minecraft servers. It was an indirect cause, to be fair, but in summary, there was a couple people who were offering services such as anti-DDoS protection, and one of the guys, who won't be named, was challenged to build a better botnet than competing services. This was called Mirai, I think, I don't know how to say it. And it could take over hundreds of thousands of fully secured devices, like even baby monitors and security cameras. So to cover the tracks, the people behind this made the code for Mirai open source, with the logic being, if everyone has it, they can't pin it on us at all. Well, that didn't go too well. In 2017, all three of them pleaded guilty after an FBI investigation was opened, which was partly driven by ProxyPipe, which is a Minecraft DDoS protection company. Thankfully, the guy behind all this worked so extensively with the FBI that they even avoided prison time and instead had to pay $8.6 million and complete 2,500 hours community service. That's more time than I have on the Skyblock. This is a short one, but there was another DDoS record on a popular server called Wynncraft. Okay, don't hate me, but Skyblock is just far better, okay? This was in 2022, and Wynncraft was hit with a 2.5 terabit per second DDoS attack. And according to Cloudflare, it was the largest attack ever mitigated in history. It lasted 2 minutes, and guess what? It was a Mirai invariant. Luckily, Cloudflare caught it, and the server stayed online, so there wasn't really any big problems here. Before NoCom, before Randar, there was Thunderhack. Player Atrika discovered that Minecraft Lightning only struck specific chunks that were currently loaded by a player. Another player called PopBob weaponized this by tracking lightning strikes to determine the approximate location of any online player. Then they would patiently stalk their movements to find their base over a few days or even weeks. And how is this patched? Housemaster just turned off thunderstorms entirely for the whole server. So if you didn't know why 2b2t doesn't have thunderstorms anymore, there you go. I want to add something to the lifeboat breach I spoke about earlier. So now that we're in the abyss section of the iceberg here, these are like the small details behind it. The passwords were stored as MD5, which for those employed people that have no idea what it means, I'm jealous, but basically it's just a way to hash data, but with modern hardware it's crackable than ours. The crazy thing is that many of these accounts belong to children, so their emails and easily cracked passwords were on the dark web markets for months while the company said nothing. Crickets for months.
We're looking for brisket!
The final entry of this video is juicier than Mimar's brisket recipe. The DDoS for hire economy in the FBI. By 2014, a full shadow economy has formed around Minecraft DDoS. MC Resolver was a service used to look up players' real IP addresses for kicking people offline mid-match, and it was breached late 2014, exposing 13 million rows of data that linked Minecraft usernames to real IP addresses. In December 2018, the FBI and DOJ seized 15 of these websites that took people offline, and this was done before Christmas deliberately because that's when Minecraft DDoS attacks seemed to spike. A UK teenager nicknamed Mud, who ran a DDoS server specifically for targeting Minecraft and RuneScape servers, was sentenced to 2 years in prison for DDoS in a game. I'm not sure about Minecraft, but RuneScape had to spend 6 million on countermeasures because of the Minecraft server culture. I mean, you really can't overstate how much damage Minecraft servers have done to the real world. Well, if this video is watched by little Timmy's 10 years from now in history class, hi. Well, that's it, I guess. No idea what I'm gonna make next, but this was kind of different style to usual, so let me know what you think. Bye bye.